I have to say, recording for this game in general has to be one of the best experiences I've ever had recording any project. Usually when you're working on a video game, regardless of how big the budget is, there's always a deadline. People have deadlines to meet, they have things to do, so they can't necessarily always spend the time necessary to put the voice over into, you know, a bigger perspective and just be in control of everything. But this project in particular, it felt like everyone cared so much about it. Usually when I do a voice acting session, what we would do is we would do like 3 takes of a line and say, it's like, oh, that speaker is cool. I'd be like, that speaker is cool. That speaker's cool. Oh, that speaker's cool. Well, no, I did the first one to tell you what the line was. But I would do that, and then I'd be like, man, I like the first part of the first take. I like the third part of the second take. I don't know. Can I ask for another one? Usually when you ask for another one, they're like, why? It's fine. I'm like, sorry. But for this project, it was like Kirk and I were on the same like brain radio. Like somebody was connecting our minds through some horrific experiment. But it was like we would be a line where it's like, hey boss, what's up? And I'd be like, hey boss, what's up? And then Kirk would be like, yeah, the first part of your first take was good, but I like the second part of your last take. I'm like, yes, that's what I'm thinking! And then he would ask our amazing, incredible engineer, Justin. He's like, Justin, can you make that happen? Justin's like, I'm on it. And he would merge them, and he would play them back, and it's like, that's what I wanted, that's what I would do if I was a talented voice actor. We would do this for almost like every other line just to get it down perfectly. And the care and dedication behind it was just something I've never seen before. Plus, Kirk and Justin are just a blast to work with.
They sure are.
They are such like a delight.
So fun.
Kirk and I met initially working on an anime game project, and the reason we connected was because we hated high-pitched anime girls screaming. He had been working on this project that had like all these girls come in and go like, I'm going to defeat you with the power of magic! And they would do that, and he would be like, hey man, and I'm like, what's up? And he's like, nothing. I'm like, you look tired. He's like, yeah, I've been listening to fucking anime scream all day. I'm like, understandable. And then so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna scream as loud. So we were just like, yeah, let's just have a chill session. And then he was like, I like you, kid. Thanks. So over time, we just kind of bonded over, you know, certain things when we were in the booth. And finally, when we got to work on this project, seeing him was basically like, hey asshole, what's up? Fuck you. We had a lot of like very funny moments in the booth where it was like, you know, banter, but it was casual banter. Because we knew our comfort levels and we knew what we were like, when to get serious and when to like, you know, have a little break. Like when he saw that I was really stressed out trying to get a line just perfect, he would try to break the tension and be like, that was a good take, but maybe for the next one, don't sound like you have a dick in your mouth. I'll try. But he had this, because there's a line in the DLC where Sonon says, well, Yuffie says, we're like turtles or something, and Sonon's like, mutant. Like mutant turtles. You know what that's a reference to. But I couldn't say the word mutant. I couldn't. So we did 35 takes.
Oh my god.
35 takes. They were like, try it again. I'm like, mutant. Can you try it with hard T? Mutant. Softer T? Mutant. Mutant. And to the point where you just keep saying a word over and over, where it's just completely like discombobulated you. So you're just like, mutant. And he's like, I think we should take a break. And I'm like, mutant. Okay, how about this? Let's just do the line itself, and I'll pretend I say the word, and then I'm going to say the word like 10 more times, and then pick the best word from that one and put it in the line where I pretend I was going to say the word. And I think that's what we ended up doing. So we spent half an hour working on this one line, because I couldn't say it. He's like, you know, Alex, I'm just going to change all your future lines to include that word. And I'm like the very next day, we recording a very crucial scene. I'm not going to spoil too much. A very crucial and emotional scene. And at the climax of it, it was just like, wait, what? I stuck the word in there. I'm like, you just ruined the moment.
They did that. That's the thing, is like they crack jokes in between your most emotional,
most vulnerable, where you're like,
vulnerable
I just exposed myself. My wrong
this
is
is my
actor.
actual moment. This
And
is
then
my
Kirk just
actual
points in the
moment.
mic and he's like, ah.
I mean, very much. They would just crack jokes in between each take. And like, oh, it was like the emotion's already in there. Like, oh my god, I can't believe that.
You start crying over his fart joke.
Why would you do this? I was like, that was so real. I'm crying. I'm actually crying. And then, yeah. Or they do something stupid and then they like keep.
That's what I think made the project feel so special, though.
Yeah.
Because when you do these big budget projects, you feel a lot of pressure from like the companies and the fans about what to do. So as an actor, that can be very restrictive because it makes you just crumble under the pressure. You can't put out your best performance. But because I feel like we were so relaxed and so just like we had so much room to kind of do anything, that we were able to explore all avenues and also just bring our best self to the performances.
That's true.
That's why I feel
That's
so
why
special.
I was so surprised, because I was like, this is not as scary as I anticipated.
Usually when we hear all the work, we always cringe or we're always like, ew, that's gross, who did that, ew.
I still do that.
But sometimes, but when I was playing the game, it was like a seamless. I've never experienced this before, where I played a game and I wasn't nitpicking myself. Or the only thing I would think about was like, oh, that was a nice line. Or like, there were a lot of interactions between Yuffie and Sonon, and out of all the emotional and impactful ones, I think my favorite ones were actually the ones where they were just talking like buddies.
You know?
Yeah.
I like that one where she was like, those tyrants! And then you're like, put the claws of my boss.
Oh yeah, there's a scene where we're passing through and Yuffie was talking about Shinra and she does.
Those tyrants!
Oh, put the claws of my boss. I just like that scene a lot. Yeah. That's the first time I heard you meowing. I was like, whoa!
Did you know it was me?
No, I mean, when I was recording, we had worked on one other project together.
Yeah.
That was an anime called Rent a Girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
Fun story. I masturbated into a tissue and like had this moan for 5 hours. I don't know. That was a weird show. Anyways, she played a love interest who didn't talk as much, and I was trying to get her to open up on a date. Yeah, and that was kind of our first interaction on screen together. And so I was like, Suzie, you sound great. And I'm like,
Thanks, make
you.
sweet noises.
And then we were just like, okay, bye.
Oh, yeah, bye.
And I didn't find out that you were Yuffie until much later. And when I did, I still didn't even say anything to you. Because we were just waiting for the trailer and stuff to drop.
We didn't say anything. Like,
No,
even if we kind of knew
We kind of knew, we were only like,
It's like, saw your name on the bathroom.
Right.
I was like, that's gotta be him, right?
I just asked. I was just like, hey, who's Yuffie? And they were like, oh, like Suzie. I'm like, okay, cool, I don't know her.
Nice. I think they only played, because we don't hear
We
each
don't
other.
record together,
We don't
which
record
is
together.
which is
Separate.
good and bad, because I feel like if we were recording together, we would get nothing done.
That's true.
I only got fed your lines sometimes, because what they would do in these sessions, when you don't record together, is they would feed the actor, like something another actor has provided before. So in my case, it was like, so this scene's a little bit hard to tackle, because you don't get to see any visuals. They're very top secret about anything they record, so you see nothing.
Or they're still in development.
Or they're still in development.
Yeah.
So there was nothing I could look at, nothing I could do except imagine the scene. And Kirk was trying to give me his best girl voice. And I was like, Kirk, this is a good cut. He's like, okay, I'll play you her line. And I'm like, yes, please. And that's when I first heard you.
Oh. I think I only heard you once, and they were just trying to check like an audio file for you.
What did you hear me say? Was it just like a Fight Soundware line? That's what they do too, because these studios, they're not just recording studios, they also edit and mix these voices. So I remember one day walking into a booth and I heard people mixing my audio upstairs.
Oh.
And I'm like,
cool.
This is a little bit cringe. Because I was there in a room of people like checking my temperature and like making sure I was okay. And they're like, "Can I help you with anything?" And just from upstairs, it was like, "Ah!" And they're like, they just looked at me in the eyes, and I'm like, "No, I'm good." So it was very awkward when they hear myself there, but in the context of the game, it's cool.
Right.
And so that was going to lead me into my next question.
Yeah, before that, I just want to like commend the editing of it because I distinctly remember like I myself doing a take during one of the earlier scenes and I was cracked. I was like, please don't keep it, please don't keep it, and they kept it. And they're like, I take that one. This is sweaty. I hate it. But then when the game came out, they actually somehow smoothed it out.
Right?
They took out the crack.
They're magical. I don't know what they do.
I was like,
That
how
probably
do you do
isn't
that?
even me. They probably just got somebody else.
Voice match.
Yeah, but
yeah, I was just like floored.
what I was going to say next is that your first reaction to seeing the first trailer,
Yeah.
like the first time ever. Because before this, the only thing we'd seen was concept art and nothing else. So what was it like for you to see the trailer in person for the first time? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I cringed internally.
Cringe?
Only because it was a shock.
Where were
It was
you?
like, I think I was in a session.
You were in a session.
and then
Oh wait,
like,
I remember. I sent you the video. I did. I DM'd you on Twitter, and you were like, "Oh, I'm in a session, but I'll take a look right after." I'm like, "Take a look now. Take a look. Take a look."
I need 5 minutes. I need 5 minutes to finish.
No, take a look now.
I really need to pee. So yeah, I took a break and then I watched it and I was like, oh my god, I can't even process this right now. Because like it was weird trying to match like my voice with the visual.
And the thing about this is that this is one of the only like JRPGs
Yeah.
or games that come from Japan that they go in and manually
Yes,
animate the mouth, store
yes,
voices,
they
which is so
lip sync
cool.
you.
Because they never
Yeah.
do that with JRPGs, so that's why when you play a lot of those games, you kind of get like this disconnect. Like,
Yeah.
if you remember, this is a situation where it's the opposite, where Ghost of Tsushima originally came out, and it had a Japanese voice option, but they didn't do the lip sync.
Oh.
So everybody who was like, I want to play this game in Japanese, kind of got taken out of the experience because the lip sync was just like, let's just try to do it in time.
Yeah.
And with 3D animation, it's so specific that anything like our eyes recognize whenever we see a mouth move around, we're just like, oh, that's not right. I don't like that. But this was definitely, they put so much time and effort into
Yeah.
this that it was like
Depending on the
surprising to
language
see.
too.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like French and German language of this game as well. And I was watching some of those and they actually like match the mouth movements
It's
based on
kinda
language.
insane.
It's crazy, the technology.
So besides cringy,
But like it wasn't like a cringe in terms of like it wasn't like a bad thing. It was really weird.
It was
because
like
shocking.
kind of like a disconnect,
Yes,
right?
because it was like that's my voice on that. Like I also didn't anticipate her to be so cute. Like it was so cute.
It's so beautiful.
I
I'm
know,
so
and I was
blown
like,
away.
I feel like I didn't sound cute enough, you know, like as her because.
And I'm not just saying this because they paid me, because they definitely did pay me. But the game is actually gorgeous. I love how everybody looks. I think my one thing about them is that everybody's just so pretty that when I play this game, I get self-conscious. You know, I play 2 hours of Final Fantasy and then I'm like, all right, I turn off the screen, Cloud's beautiful face, like fades, and it's a black screen, and I just look at myself. So for me, I was actually helping out my friend Ray Chase, who is the voice of Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. Big Platinum musician. He came over and he needed a set, so I was like,
You can fill in my room where I have 3 posters of dinosaurs that says Adventure Explorer.
okay. And I was helping them film a press interview, also for Square Enix. And we were just like, all right, let's take a quick lunch break. And I'm like, oh yeah, the event's happening today. The PlayStation, I forgot what it's called. I'm just saying, PlayStation.
It's
right?
PlayStation, I think it's PlayStation Experience, or is it State of Play?
State of Play, that's the one. So there's just a State of Play. I'm like, oh yeah, let's check this out. And then they started showing Cloud. I'm like, wait, could this be? Could we finally be here? And then there she was. There's Yuffie. And I didn't expect to see me because I'm like, probably just gonna show Yuffie to show off some stuff. And then Sonon showed up, and I was like, fucking Ray. And Ray was right there with me, and he just saw my jaw drop, and he's like, because I was just like, I was so blown away, and I kept replaying it over and over. So he definitely knew what was up.
Oh yeah.
And then the funny thing is that he got a text immediately after the trailer aired. And it was a text from his close friend, and his close friend was like, Ray, was that you in the trailer? Was that you? And it was something weirdly special about having Ray there with me to be a part of my technically first Final Fantasy experience. Now I feel even worse that I never played this game. But it's okay. He doesn't play my game. We're fine. But it was a really special moment, and I felt like all of my anger and frustration that year just went away because I had 2 good days. But I was definitely super excited, and you sounded amazing.
Thank you. Same to you.
And it was so hard to process after, I've done this for, I was gonna say, I've done this for a long time. I haven't. I really haven't. I've only been at this for like 3 years, but even after 3 years, you get used to seeing yourself and stuff, and it doesn't really have like the same surprise anymore as when you first do it. But for this game, I was just like, I love Cloud so much, and I get to be in a game with him, and then there I was in a game with him, and I was just ecstatic just because Cloud was there 2 frames of, shh, don't take this away.
I'm sorry.
Don't take this away.
I'm sorry.
Second consolation prize, Tifa was there.
Yeah, that's true. That's fine. She was
But I think that was the first time they showed him off, and I was just like, damn, we're gonna have to wait for, I was like, 4 months or 5 months before we can even announce. So keeping that secret was one of the hardest things to do, because you want to go out there and you'd be like, that's me! That's me!
Nobody really predicted, right?
Nobody knew. Because Suzie is a new name, and people know me for my higher pitch stuff. So I do like Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, and I do like a lot of like, ah! You know? So nobody ever expected me to do like a deep voice for a character like that was sustainable. So everybody was guessing like, oh, that's Ray Chase, that's Matt Mercer. And for you it was like, Christina B, that's her.
Or Erica Lindbergh, that's Jessie.
That's Erica Lindbergh. Why did you bring Erica Lindbergh back? And we were just both sitting there like, we are neither of this.
Yeah, it was just interesting to see like Twitter, like the cogs turning and like the guessing and like who's this person, who?
Kind of unrelated, but I've had a lot of experiences. With Sonon, it was different because when Sonon came out, everybody was like, "Oh, damn, who's this hottie?" I don't look like him, but you know. But I've had a lot of experiences where a character of mine releases like on worldwide, and everybody sees them for the first time. And on Twitter, they start trending. I'm like, oh, this is so exciting, they're trending. And I click on the tag, it's like, oh, this dude ugly. Why do you look like shit? This design doo-doo. And I was just like,
That's not true. That's not true.
But this has happened like 3 times, so I'm expecting the same thing with Sonon. I was expecting the same thing with Sonon, but when I clicked on him, everybody was like, Sonon fan cam, and I'm like, dude, the trailers went out for like 4 minutes. And they have them like, there was a fan cam that's really funny on Twitter. Where the picture of the fan cam is like Sonon, the Sonon PNG in like behind a court, in like a courtroom. And it was like Sonon defending women's rights. I love this. This is great.
You would.
You would, 100%. It's like how he sacrifices himself every time when you play the game, and like
he sure does.
Yuffie gets down, he's like, "You got this, boss," and he just
like every time.
Just drops dead on the ground.
And then Yuffie's just like, get the
She's so mean. He's like, she's so mean. Sonon would be on the ground. He's like, "You got this, boss. I believe in you." And she's like, "Oh my God, you're such a slacker." I'm dead. But yeah, so this whole thing has been an incredible ride.
Yes.
And the thing that I enjoy also the most about it is that Square Enix have been so fucking nice to us.
I know.
This is the nicest company I've ever worked for. I don't even get like copies of the stuff I work in sometimes, so I just go out there and buy it with my own money with almost every game or every show I'm in. Like, it's such a rarity for a company to like even reach out and be like, hey, do you want the game? And I'm like,
Yeah,
so with Square, they reached out and they were like, hey, do you want the collector's edition of Final Fantasy VII Remake? And I'm like, copy of Final Fantasy like Remake Integrate? Yeah! And they're like, how about Cloud Strife on a motorcycle? I'm like, yeah! And they did send us Cloud Strife on a motorcycle.
They should have both of us.
I was like, Suzie, do you want to come over and play with Cloud Strife with a motorcycle? Yeah, and she came over and we played with Cloud Strife with a motorcycle. It was a really good time. We just rolled him around. His elbow joint was too tight though, so I kept like.
It almost snapped his arms.
Every time I tried to put a new hand in, it was like.
Sonon almost killed Cloud.
Right? Stop hurting him! Hold on. And I go grab my hairdryer, like trying to do this thing I see on toy chains. And then I burn my hand because I was, ah! But we had a great time. They have been so generous to us. And if you saw, Sonon and Yuffie are getting action figures! That's like the one thing you want to do when you're a voice actor. You just want a figurine of you. So you can literally play with yourself. It wouldn't be considered public indecency if you do it in public, right? But they were like, hey, do you want figurines? And I'm like, I was just going to spend the $200 out of my pocket, but sure. I'll take it. But yeah, so I think most, like, overall this entire experience has just been...
Oh yeah,
it's so crazy. And then now we're here for the first ever Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate panel, so thank you for joining us. This is actually both of our first conventions.
Yes. Yeah.
We've never been to a convention before.
Yeah.
So we had our signings, which was crazy. And we're going to have another one today, like right after this, right?
Pretty much, like,
down at the dealer's room.
Yes.
But now, how much time do we have left?
We have about half an hour, so just another
Let's do
questions.
some questions. So if you have any questions for us,
feel free to line up
Final
to the mic
Fantasy or anything,
or anything.
feel free to come up.
Okay, you just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
Thank you. Yeah, so you two are great in Remake. I actually grew up with the original. I think it came out like when I was almost 1 year old, and I remember watching my older brother playing the original as like a little toddler infant. And then I actually beat the original back when I was in high school. Remake is really good. Jesus. Remake is really good. It's just, I'm not even nervous, I'm just kind of out of breath sometimes.
I get that, me too. What would you like to ask?
Yeah, I guess it can be anything.
Yeah, anything about us, voice acting of Final Fantasy VII.
All right.
Mostly, let's try to keep it Final Fantasy related.
Okay. So, like I said, how is it, trying to keep it a secret when you book the roles, like, or even like when the trailers play? Like, I mean, because usually, sometimes when the trailer plays, people start speculating and they may tag an actor and like, oh my god, it's this person. And if it is them, it's just like, gotta pretend that I don't see it.
It's wild speculation most of the time. I remember, if anybody remembers the game Astral Chain, when that first came out, that was my first game as a protagonist character, or as any important character at all. So when that game came out, everybody was like, that's Yuri Lowenthal. I was looking at the tweets and they were like, I could hear his voice from a mile away. That's Sasuke right there. And they kept tagging him. And I was just like, please don't bother him. I don't want him to think bad of me. But of course it's always super difficult to, keep it a secret. But if you're an actor and you get paid to act and be a part of the project, the least you can do is make it easy on everyone else on the team. You never want to breach your contracts. You never want to do anything that would rub the team the wrong way, because these people worked hard, probably harder than us. We're only a tiny bit of the production process.
They spent a lot of money to market this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Even leak it. It just cost them a lot of money.
If people leak this stuff, it would, hurt the marketing team in a bad way. So the least we can do is be respectful and just, handle everything with care, even though it is super exciting. But that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Joel.
Hi,
What's
Joel.
up?
What's up?
It was a pleasure getting to know you guys. I haven't had the pleasure of playing Intermission yet, but getting to know you before I play it, it's going to make it that much more
I'm glad
awesome.
we didn't spoil anything.
I was going to bring up Astral Chain because I was IMDBing you as I was sitting here listening to you, and great work. I love that game.
Oh, thank you.
Great
Yeah,
work.
the strange thing about that game is that there's two protagonists.
Yeah.
So if you play as the female,
Right.
you hear my voice.
Yes.
If you play as me, all I do is...
I did play as a female, so yeah.
I'm glad.
You were really close to your sister in that game, and you did an awesome job playing that character. So.
Thank you so much. I play a lot of brothers. Oh yeah, especially her brother.
It's really, really strange.
Well, I'm really looking forward to playing Intermission and hearing you guys perform and going through that game. But I had a question. Do you have any insight onto when Part 2 might be coming out?
Buddy, trust me, if we knew.
Oh, you have insight?
Trust me, if we knew.
Oh, if you knew.
If we knew, we wouldn't tell you anyway.
Well, if you just had insight, that would be enough for me. But I appreciate you guys taking my question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
You literally took my questions.
What are you, a YouTube news channel? You're at school news?
To go with the one you said the first time.
Well, there's two versions of cloud. There's dark and good cloud. Now there's green. 4 clouds, 5 clouds, every red cloud.
That's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. No. Go ahead.
No, I just recently beat the original. Like I had it since 06, but it's like it's hard to find a PS1 this one. But yeah, so I enjoyed the game. It was good work with you guys. Aside from that being my one question, the other one was gonna be Yuffie. If you were in the Dress to the Nines campaign, what could you imagine what like her outfit would have been? Going up to
I like that question.
Like, if she was in like a Walmart crew and then she had to like dress up and stuff.
Actually, yeah, I thought I would have been asking too much if I had asked that, but I'm glad that you saw it that way. So yeah,
No, yeah.
Listen,
She had to.
What? Because she thinks very highly of herself.
Oh, she does.
She
would,
thinks
like,
very highly of
dress to the
herself.
nines.
I
Yeah.
don't think anybody would let her though, because she's a kid. So they would put a potato sack on her and send her out. That's all they would
Absolutely
pick her.
not. No, honestly, like, I could definitely see her in some sort of Oriental.
Oh, true, that's right.
To
That'd be gorgeous.
represent her culture, the Wu-Tang culture.
I
So
would love to see what those look like.
She probably have like a
fancy garments.
dragon, and
That's a cool design.
embellishment or something.
Better keep that idea. Get some fan art on there.
Yeah, like a green dress kind of thing.
That's a great question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
bring that up to what's his name, Nomura? Is y'all-
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll call. I'll text him after.
Hey,
What's up, buddy?
yeah.
Hey.
Hey guys, my name is Dave, and I haven't finished playing Final Fantasy VII yet. Although I'm just really excited to play Integrate now. But I want to ask you guys a question more about like, did you guys ever like interact with like the other departments while like the game was going on? Because like I know you guys like said you saw like concept art of like the characters or sort of like how the 3D scans for like the mouth work or like all that cool stuff that happened with the voice acting. Like I don't know, all that sounded cool. I guess I want to know a little bit more.
I'll let you take this first.
Yeah, well, we didn't interact with necessarily the animators or the designers. They worked on their own set. But I think the person we did work with very closely was the localizing team. I specifically talked with Ben. I think you did too.
I did. He was just kind of like,
Yeah.
you never saw his face because he was a
No,
different person. So
but
it's just like the Skype icon.
He was like, he just reminded me of, like Zordon. I
Yeah.
like just this voice or like
This mysterious man who was telling us that we were doing bad. I'm kidding. He's
No, but he's amazing. He's amazing. Like he would give us all the context because like Kurt doesn't necessarily know what's going on.
Sometimes directors don't
They
know
don't. So they
everything that's
need-
going on in a project. So
Yeah.
they need somebody who's actually working. So if anybody knew more, it would be Ben himself
Yeah.
who was working with the Japanese team and everything. But let me tell you, I would have loved to. That's like when you're a voice actor, you're also interested in how it's made.
Yeah.
You know, so you would love to get in there. And I feel like the closest line of work that does that is cartoons, like original cartoons, because those people get to see the animatic. They get to have a say in the story. They get to change lines and stuff before time. But as video game voice actors, everything's already like done because this is a huge project with so many